We meet again.
So painful, man.
Is the name of this flower. It's also
It's so
mine.
fucking painful.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yep, that's gonna be my intro. Hi everyone, Ruby Panda here with a totally on time, not at all delayed talk about Enfer, our newest sinner. I assume most of you are familiar with Enfer's abilities, but I'll go over them just in case regardless. Her skill 1 is a standard attack and is completely irrelevant. Her ultimate is her highest priority and is an amazing damage amplification tool, but also applies fear to nearby enemies. Her passive 1 puts a mark on feared enemies and allows the sinner who started the stage in front of Enfer to deal bonus damage to these enemies. And lastly, her passive 2 makes her damage feared enemies. Her shackles are essentially all amazing, but the one that really stands out the most is her shackle 4, as it just screams BFL speedrunning. However, she functions perfectly fine in shackle 0, so if you're free to play, I wouldn't be in a hurry to chase shackles. In terms of crime brands, Enfer's not like the other girls you know, and by that I mean, she's exactly like them and wants energy. Okay, but what I really want to talk about is her contribution to her BFL runs. For BFL, I usually consider 3 categories of players: the climber, the slacker, and the high scorer. The rest of this review will mainly be conducted in the perspective of a climber and a slacker, as high scoring players already have an accurate understanding of Enfer in the context of their own runs. Alright, so for the rest of you, how good is Enfer currently? Well, she's awkward. A large part of her damage amplification is locked behind fear, which 2 of the 3 BFL bosses are immune to, and Brand, for some reason, cannot be feared during the first few seconds of spawning, though naturally if you're struggling to even one cycle Brand, you will be able to get more fear procs off, which should significantly boost your damage. Now, does awkward mean bad? No, in fact she's pretty amazing, but it's important to understand the circumstances in which she becomes this. Take a look at this side-by-side comparison of 2 Brand BFL runs I tried to recreate as closely as possible. The only difference here are the Enfer and the Hamel. Now, it's very easy to draw the wrong conclusions here, so let's be careful. As some of you may have realized, this composition heavily favors Hamel, as it mitigates her lack of core breaking potential, something which Enfer has no problem doing. That means that there's an entire aspect of Enfer's kit which is not being utilized. Enfer is essentially performing the job of both Hamel and Irene in this case, and would allow me to completely substitute Irene out for another physical damage dealer. Let me just repeat that last part. Enfer is essentially performing the job of both Hamel and Irene. She is so strong that I cannot even capitalize on her full potential. My team scores 260k easily, and Enfer allows me to put in an entire other damage dealer, something I don't even have built. Of course, it doesn't have to be another physical DPS. I can also just sub in Hamel once again, as she's a really strong damage amplifier. Next, we saw that Hamel's score was slightly greater, which may imply a stronger amp. However, it's most likely due to micro differences. The key thing to note of difference though is the amp distribution. Because Enfer is solely focused on a single sinner, none of the application is lost on utility units such as Chair. This also means Enfer has amazing synergy with units who specialize in doing big hits, such as Mess or Irene with her mind stacking. Yeah, that's about all I wanted to cover for Enfer. Basically she's the best amplifier we have. For story content, yeah, she's fine. Okay, thanks, bye.